This is a team that defensively started to hit its stride in the last quarter to the last third of the season, and a team that right now had Jared Goff playing as though Sean McVay had made a mistake. Okay, because this team was as explosive as any in the NFL. I believe they've got even more explosive now with the addition of Jahmyr Gibbs out of Alabama in the first round. Defensively, they've got some ballers. Now, look, Jack Campbell, you can, debate whether or not he should have went in the first round as a off-ball middle linebacker, but when you see this 6'5", 245, 250-pounder, as we saw at the Music City Bowl with him, he's playing with Iowa, you will be impressed. They draft Brian Branch out of Alabama in the second round, who's one of the best safeties in all of college football last year. This team has ballers. That's what they have. They have football players, and they're coached by an ex-football player in Dan Campbell, who, from all accounts that I have heard, has this team right now believing in every single thing he says. He's going to have the last laugh in all of this. When people were laughing about him in his initial press conference, Dan Campbell is building a monster in Detroit, a legit monster. Forget what you think about the Detroit Lions. And when they go there into Arrowhead, I can promise you this. Kansas City will be in for a fight now because this team is playing good defense. They have got explosive offense, and they believe they can go anywhere and win against anybody. They do not believe they're the same old Detroit Lions, man. And that's why I believe they're being put on prime time, and they'll be on prime time a lot more when people start seeing the kind of damage they're gonna inflict on other teams.
What do we say all the time, especially in football? If there's belief in what's being built, you can really do anything. They've got the belief in the talent. Now, Lions, one of the trendy teams coming into this.
Did you guys almost play angry?
We wanted to make sure we established an aggressive style, our aggressive style of football, man. And we really wanted to finish. It was really the focus above anything else was about our effort. Just finishing, man. I want you to be able to turn the tape on and your teammate to watch the play that you're doing and say, man, that guy is finishing for me. Man, I trust that guy. And that was kind of the message is, man, finish for the guy next to you and give everything you've got. And if we can all look at each other tomorrow in the eyes and say, I gave you what I had, that's always going to be a good thing. And they did that.
What's your reaction to Detroit being put in this very primetime spot right out of the gate?
Yeah, look, I'm not shocked, and I'll tell you why. Number one, remember how the season ended. Remember how they just pushed Green Bay all over the place up there in Lambeau Field to end the season. That is not a fluke.
And with the Lions win, they, for all intents and purposes, put the NFC on ice. So I asked a very simple question to you, Ryan Clark. Are the Lions the best team?
I have no problem saying that, and I love the Lions. I'm with you. I think the Lions are a team that has shown that they can win the football game in so many ways, and the way that they execute down the stretch shows how great of a strategist that Dan Campbell is, and also some of the risks that they take that are calculated, playing with 4 downs to get 10 yards. All of those things are good. You've lost too many good players to go beat a team that still has all of theirs.
The Detroit Lions are no longer the NFL's punchline. They're a freight train, barreling through the NFC with a ferocity that's left jaws on the floor. In 2024, they obliterated expectations with a franchise record 1-5-2 season, clinching the NFC North for the second straight year and cementing their status as a powerhouse. But here's the question burning in every football fan's mind. Are the Lions the NFL's best team, or is this meteoric rise a mirage, destined to crumble under the weight of adversity? Dan Campbell, the architect of this gritty, relentless squad, has built a culture of fire and belief, a team that plays with the heart of a lion and the hunger of a starving predator. Yet, with both coordinators gone and a franchise icon retiring, is this juggernaut unstoppable, or are cracks forming in the Honolulu Blue Foundation? Buckle up, because the 2025 season is about to answer that question with a vengeance. The Lions' rise didn't happen overnight. It's a story of grit, guts, and a woman who dared to rewrite history. Let's dive into how Sheila Ford Hamp turned a cursed franchise into a contender. For decades, the Ford family was the anchor dragging the Lions into the abyss. Under William Ford's 50-year reign, the Lions made the playoffs just 10 times, never sniffing a Super Bowl. Fans were fed up, chanting for new ownership as the losses piled up like rust in the Motor City. Then, in 2020, Sheila Ford Hamp took the reins at 94 years old, and everything changed. Unlike her predecessors, Sheila wasn't afraid to wield the axe. She fired GM Bob Quinn and coach Matt Patricia after a dismal 5-1-1 season, signaling a new era. Her first move? hiring Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell, two visionaries who've turned Detroit into a football mecca. Sheila's bold decisions backing Holmes's draft genius and Campbell's fiery leadership have silenced the doubters. In just 4 years, the Lions went from 3-1-3 to 1-5-2, a 12-win improvement that's the stuff of legend. But with fans still haunted by decades of heartbreak, can Sheila's vision withstand the storm of 2025? Sheila's overhaul laid the foundation, but it's Dan Campbell's relentless spirit that's turned players into warriors. Let's unpack how his strategies are redefining NFL football. Dan Campbell isn't just a coach, he's a force of nature. His bite a kneecap off mentality has transformed the Lions into a team that plays like it's possessed. In 2024, Campbell's strategies were a masterclass. Fourth down gambles that converted 68% of the time, a league-leading 31.2 points per game, and a defense that clamped down in the clutch, ranking 7th in points allowed. His viral play designs, like the Hawaiian hammer trick play that fooled the Jaguars, had X buzzing with awe. Campbell's mantra? Finish for the guy next to you. After their 2-4-1-7 preseason loss to Miami, he doubled down. I want my guys to watch the tape and say, that man's giving everything for me. That belief fueled a 1-5-2 season, but with offensive coordinator Ben Johnson now in Chicago and defensive guru Aaron Glenn in New York, can Campbell's fire keep burning? His new coordinators, Kelvin Shepard and John Morton, face monstrous expectations. Will they match Campbell's intensity, or will the Lions' aggression falter? Campbell's culture is unbreakable, but it's the draft picks that give this team its teeth. Let's break down how Brad Holmes' 2025 draft class is ready to roar. Brad Holmes is the NFL's draft whisperer. Since 2021, he's hit on 80% of his picks, turning first-rounders like Penei Sewell, Aiden Hutchinson, and Jahmyr Gibbs into all-pro talents. The 2025 draft, another masterstroke. First-round pick Tyleik Williams, a 6'3", 327-pound defensive tackle from Ohio State, is a run-stuffing beast who's already drawing comparisons to Ndamukong Suh. Second-rounder Tate Ratledge, a Georgia guard, stepped into Frank Ragnow's massive shoes at center, impressing with his 84.2 PFF grade in preseason. Third-round wideout Isaac Tesla, a Lions fan from birth, brings 4.4, 1 speed, and a chip on his shoulder. Add in fifth-round guard Miles Frazier, sixth-round edge rusher Ahmed Hassanein, and seventh-round steals Dan Jackson and Dominic Lovett. And Holmes has reloaded a roster ravaged by injuries. But with key losses like Ragnow and Carlton Davis, is this draft enough to keep Detroit's Super Bowl dreams alive? Holmes's draft gems are dazzling, but the Lions' 2025 season hinges on one man's redemption. Let's talk about Jared Goff and why he's the NFL's most dangerous quarterback. Jared Goff was once a cast-off, traded away by the Rams like yesterday's news. But in Detroit, he's a phoenix rising from the ashes. In 2024, Goff finished 5th in MVP voting, throwing for 4,814 yards and 38 touchdowns, with a 68.7% completion rate. His chemistry with Amon-Ra St. Brown and Jahmyr Gibbs made the Lions' offense a nightmare, averaging 426 yards per game. Now, with new coordinator John Morton, who knows Goff's game from his 2022 stint in Detroit, expect even more fireworks. Morton's play calling, honed in Denver with Bo Nix, leans on quick passes and RPO schemes that suit Goff's precision. But here's the controversy. Some analysts on X claim Goff's success is all scheme, not skill. Is he truly elite, or just a system QB riding Campbell's coattails? The 2025 opener against Green Bay will tell us everything. Goff's arm is lethal, but the Lions' defense could be their Achilles heel. Can Kelvin Shepard keep this unit from collapsing? The Lions' defense was a roller coaster in 2024, finishing 7th in points allowed, 19.8 per game, despite a brutal injury crisis. Aiden Hutchinson's broken leg, Aleem McNeil's knee injury, and Marcus Davenport's season-ender left the unit in tatters. Enter Kelvin Shepard, the new defensive coordinator who's been with Detroit since 2021. Shepard's no stranger to the Lions' grit, praising Hutchinson's superhuman recovery and Terrion Arnold's breakout sophomore season. With Tyleik Williams and Ahmed Hassanein bolstering the trenches, Shepard's scheme, aggressive blitzes, and tight coverage could make this defense elite. But here's the rub. Replacing Aaron Glenn, who took the Jets' head coaching job, is no small feat. X is buzzing with skepticism about Shepard's inexperience. If injuries strike again, will this defense hold? Or will it be the Lions' downfall? The defense is a question mark, but the Lions' Week 1 clash with Green Bay is a statement game. Can they prove they're still the NFC's kings? The 7th of September 2025, Lambeau Field. The Lions open their season against the rival Green Bay Packers in a primetime slugfest that's got the NFL world buzzing. Last year, Detroit humiliated Green Bay in Week 18, pushing them around like a high school JV squad. Now, with Jordan Love healthy and Micah Parsons nursing a back injury, the Packers are vulnerable. Analysts predict a Lions win, 26-24, citing their explosive offense and improving defense. This isn't just a game, it's a declaration. Can Dan Campbell's Lions prove they're still the NFC's alpha, or will Green Bay expose cracks in the armor? One thing's certain, the NFL isn't ready for the chaos Detroit's about to unleash. The Lions are poised to dominate. But what do you think? Can they conquer the NFC again, or will 2025 be their undoing? Let's wrap this up with a call to action. The Detroit Lions are no longer a feel-good story, they're a problem. With a 1-5-2 record, a revamped roster, and a culture forged in fire, they're gunning for their first Super Bowl. But the ghosts of 2024's playoff collapse and the loss of both coordinators loom large. Can Dan Campbell, Jared Goff, and Sheila Ford Hamp defy the doubters and cement Detroit as the NFL's new dynasty? Or will injuries and inexperience send them crashing back to earth? Drop your predictions in the comments. Will the Lions roar or falter? Smash that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell, because the 2025 season is about to be a wild ride.